I'm tired. Can I just be very real with you? I'm gonna be very real with you, okay? You might be like, ew. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm tired. I'm tired of everything I thought that was good in this country growing up not being what it actually is. I'm tired of everything not being what it was told to me to be. I'm tired of the fact that I served in the military, okay? I went overseas, I protected the poppy fields in Afghanistan, and guess what? That's all I was really there for. I wasn't there for any type of real patriotic anything. I was there to subjugate a Middle Eastern country, probably on the behest of another Middle Eastern country that starts with the letter I. I'm tired of finding out everything about my food has been a lie to me. I'm tired of figuring out everything about our government has been a lie. I'm tired of figuring out that sports, something that I love at the professional level, is just a giant circus. They just want you to bet. They just want you to drink. They just want you to spend money. I'm tired of every single moment of my life being treated like it's just like I'm a walking pay stub for them. Every moment I'm being marketed to. Every moment my data is being utilized so that ads can be more perfect to give a higher likelihood that maybe I will purchase now or in the future. I hate that everything's becoming a subscription. I hate that the tech bros are slowly winning and turning us into a tech surveillance state. I'm tired that everything politically is so divided that no one can even talk about it without getting angry. I'm tired that we can't make any progress. I'm tired that we can't get on the same page. I'm tired that we've seen everything happen since the Epstein list. We have plenty of reason to do something about this as a people, and nothing has happened, myself included. I'm tired of not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, guys. I'm tired of not being able to come on here and tell you, look, housing prices are going to come down to X because of Y. Hey, they created this new affordable product here to help people to be able to travel, and they're going to take care of this, that, and the third. Or, hey, they actually fixed wages. You're going to be able to work hard and make good money and make a lifestyle for you here in America. It's only going to take 3 years. Here's the plan. Like, I wish they had that. I wish there was legislation that was coming out about term limits, age limits, insider trading, getting corporate and federal, or corporate and country... corporate and foreign lobbying out of our Congress. I wish to God I could get on here and tell you that they destabilized the carried interest loophole, that 20 and 2 is gone for private equity. I wish I could tell you that they reinstated Glass-Steagall, that they got rid of this 2004 margin rule change, that Citizens United's been overturned. I wish I could tell you these things. And we know that they need to be done. We know that the greedflation, because of unfettered corporate spend and greed since COVID, led us to a world where this K-shaped economy feels like the bottom shape of the K is dying financially. And the top side of the top 10% of the economy that's doing good since COVID, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people, by the way. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a Nepo baby. I earned it, but like, I'm one of those people. I can still see those people struggling though.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're looking at a video today where the white folks are simply frustrated with this government, this administration, and they're saying to themselves, this is not what we voted from. Right from the moment the COVID began, right to this period, it has been a downward trend. And the guy in the video, all credit to the original content creator, is saying, I wish it could only get better. But the truth be told, everything on ground is determined or underlined to deprive people. He cannot speak of a certainty of a better tomorrow. And it's quite sad to see people at this very point vesting their frustration, their pain, and their anger on the social media. It tells you how bad things are literally on the ground and how the average American is coping and is trying to make every day, every minute, every hour count. We have a couple of videos more to share with you, so hang in there. At the end of the day, we'll come to give our commentary. If you're a new subscriber, please kindly hit that notification button, hit that subscription button, so that when we bring up the update, you'll be the first to be notified. And if you are an existing subscriber, thank you. You're the reason why we do this. So let's dive in right, guys.
In February 2022, I had a moment in my life I won't get too deep into right now that just led me down a path of waking up. And waking up for me started something simple, like, what's the Federal Reserve? What do they do? How are they founded? That's odd. Other central banks, let me look into the past. Let me look at, how this was founded. Okay, it started with a bank panic. Why was there a bank panic? And then, you lead through the history, you get through the New Deal, you get through the Bretton Woods Agreement, you get into the Nixon shock, you get into Reaganomics, and then you walk through NAFTA and Glass-Steagall and the SEC margin rule change of 2004, and then you work all the way up to Citizens United and COVID inflation, and you think, wow, has this nation really just been on this path for a century? I make this content, guys, because I feel we are headed toward clear economic authoritarianism. Because I believe full-heartedly there is a path set up to walk down. And be clear, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. But that the path of lily pads in our history, looking at the legislative wires, ripping out New Deal legislation, law by law, union by union, regulation by regulation, allowing a billionaire to make a little more, allowing a corporation to have a little less red tape, allowing an investor to make a little bit more moolah, all to the tune of the working class wealth gap being so exacerbated at this moment that it doesn't seem recoverable. I don't think it's supposed to be. I make this content because I don't want you to feel like what's happening at this moment is coming out of left field. The system's operating as it should. The usury model is operating as it should. The fractional reserve lending system is operating as it should. The political discourse to divide us between red and blue while they chase green is operating exactly as it should. And when you hear about what's going on today with regime change and oil gaining opportunities out in Venezuela, when you hear about billionaire pedophiles being covered up for, when you walk into a tariff-infused, inflating economy that's been inflating through Biden, through the first Trump term, through Obama's term, money was printed during Bush and Clinton, all these different politicians, blue or red, doesn't matter. And now we're talking digital ID. Now we're talking about getting currency out of paper and into the cloud. Now we're talking about paying down our own debt by utilizing stablecoin efforts. I'm here to tell you guys right now, I'm looking at a world with AI infusement, data centers backing it to a point where they can continue to live out their lives of wealth gaining, of capitalistic tendencies on the backs, not only of the working class, but just of the American people. See, I think there's truly a UBI world in the future. I think there truly is a regime change effort within our own economy that we'll see in the next few years. And this doesn't have to do with Trump. This doesn't have to do with even Republicans. It has to do with leadership. It has to do with unfettered Citizens United lobbying that has led toward legislation that's gotten us to the point where it seems like an unforeseen effort. I'm not stating that correctly. They're bringing about so many radical changes that we can't even conceptualize. Hear me. So that by the time they're implemented, we have no clue what's even happened. That money printing ad nauseum for the last decade and a half, we're going to get to the end of it and we're not even going to realize what has happened. We're going to get to digital ID and information control and lack of free speech due to them being able to monitor everything you do and literally be able to arrest you based off tendencies of posting comments you've made online. That is a world we are walking toward. We are walking toward a world where the normal everyday person is going to have to rent everything, is going to have to subscribe to everything. There are going to be subscription cars, okay? There are going to be subscriptions for everything. Everything. There's not going to be any asset that can be obtained by the working class because they know if you did, you get your ass in a different class, and they don't want that. Because whenever you move up a class, somebody else has to move down a class, and that's not the way it has to be. About 2,000 years ago, about 1,996 years ago, a man stood in front of two different sects of people at two different times. One was a market of money changers who were utilizing the floor at which they were selling and taking advantage of those that were trying to conduct sacrifices and just ripping them a new one financially over it. He brought out a whip and flipped tables. On another instance, in a market full of individuals called out vehemently the den of vipers that are leading them, the cold-hearted religious influence that was leading their people toward a wealth gap problem. And a man who's now in a book that has been utilized to propagandize and nationalize a bunch of old white men, and using that very book to posture themselves as blessed, to posture themselves as in the right, all while ignoring the very thing Jesus, Yeshua, Christ hated: wealth hoarding and false leadership. This is spiritual warfare, and if you think that Jesus wouldn't be the first person to step up against it, I don't think you've read the Bible. And I'm not saying you had to. You can read the Quran. You can study Buddhism, Hinduism. In fact, I think the monks really got it right. If we all were able to find our inner peace, the world's different, but that's not what the top wants. The top wants more. They want more of this earth. They want more of its treasures, and they want more and more and more and more, and they're doing it. They're laying out the steps toward full economic and financial totalitarian control, and that's not a conspiracy. What's going to happen when AI rips apart the entire working class, especially the white-collar working class, entry level? Oh, well, it's going to create jobs. There's a new data center going in Delaware City that's 11 buildings, and it's going to cost billions and billions of dollars. You know how many jobs it's creating? 80. Not 80,000, 80. Not 80, 100, 80. 56 of them will be custodial and security. When you look at the economic situation right now, you may be able to think, unfortunately, you can't buy a house right now. You don't know if your car breaks down, what you would do. If you had to get new brakes, how are you going to afford them? Credit card debt is at all-time highs. Healthcare costs are at all-time highs. Childcare costs are at all-time highs. When you look at what private equity, hedge funds, Wall Street, billionaire leaders who are lobbying the politicians at an unfettered amount since Citizens United, because now they can, an infinite amount of money can come into our system from them at a... I make this content because I don't think it's blue and red. I think it's two sides of the same coin. I think our country is controlled, and I think it's controlled by people who want one thing: power. Money is power. Status is power. Leadership is power. Land is power. And they want that power so that they can have control over you. I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think it's real. And I'm going to keep talking about it from all angles. Whether it's housing affordability, Epstein, or anything in between. And I think it matters that we have these conversations, because otherwise it will come out of left field. And heck, maybe, just maybe, if enough people were to take on the mantle of what a Jesus probably would have done, well, maybe we run the money drivers out. Maybe the whips and the flipping of tables becomes less of a story and more of a prophecy of what's to come. Because Jesus loved everybody, and he only hated one thing: people who demonize, ostracize, and minimize its people in the name of power and money. It's sick, and it's what's happening right now. And I'm going to keep talking about it.
Guys, what he's talking about is this, in a nutshell. What if you wake up and you discover that all that you have always been told, all that you believed was real, all that you have received as information right from the moment you are an infant to adulthood, how you feel when you eventually find that you have been played, it's all a lie, is what he's talking about. where the very institutions you've labored, you've worked for, is all maligned with corruption, where they obviously know the likely trajectory of the country and where it is going to, and they intentionally allow you to slip into that mess without doing anything about it, is what this video intends to cover. You could see the devastation and the anger, especially with the uncovering of secrets in the Epstein files, that there were first-hand knowledge about certain things, and yet they chose to keep it secret and allowed innocent people pay the ultimate price, allowing people to suffer hardship when it could be avoided, allowing people to go through the mess they are going through when there was something that could have been done. And it's quite shocking and alarming. And many people are waking up to from the consciousness of the reality that they have been played all along, and all that they have believed, even as the founding fathers have sung the song about how great America is founded on lies and deceit. So I want to know what your thoughts, your opinions are. Let the conversation begin. And if you're coming across my YouTube channel, like I said previously, please kindly subscribe. Hit the notification button. Then you will be notified whenever we're bringing in exciting content. See you on my next video.